Now, his was surely the only coffin in history to arrive with a flower arrangement of Thunderbird 2, the catchphrase FAB spelled out in petals. Its creator, Gerry Anderson, who died last month, was remembered by a 300-strong congregation, and tributes from the actors who worked with him. Hailed for his groundbreaking energy and vision, the filmmaker, who'd been diagnosed with Alzheimer's 2 years ago, was waved off with his iconic puppets, a march and, of course, Lady Penelope's pink Rolls-Royce. David Grossman witnessed it all.
For anyone of a certain age, me included, the name Gerry Anderson on the credits means a guarantee of excitement. He changed children's TV by, for the first time, not making TV for children. Instead, he just made quality shows that children could enjoy without being talked down to.
The shows were made meticulously, huge attention to detail, and of course it was a one-off. There was no other show in the world like it.
A pink Rolls-Royce gave a hint as to whose funeral this was in Reading today. Gerry Anderson's stars, of course, could not attend without someone to work their strings. Many of their voices, though, made it.
Not that many people may recognise your face, but if you say something, they might recognise who you are.
That's right. Yes, they might recognise that I did the voice of Parker a long time ago.
I was the angels' voices in Captain Scarlet.
All of the angels?
Yeah, well, I did 3 of them.
I mean, would you rather live on Tracy Island, do you think?
I would.
And the weather's not bad, is it, there?
Oh, the weather's fabulous.
I was lucky enough to meet Gerry Anderson about 18 months before he died. He'd been diagnosed with Alzheimer's a year previously. This was one of his last interviews. He told me that advice he'd got early in his career still rang true.
It's very simple. Never second guess your audience. You do what you want to do. And if you find that the audience like what you want to do, you'll be famous. And if they don't like what you want to do, open a greengrocer shop.
But early on, Gerry could only get commissions working in a genre he couldn't stand.
Some people liked the puppets and watching puppets. I hated puppets and hated working with them.
So he made it his own, doing it better than anyone else, always working around the puppets' limitations. They can't walk convincingly? Well, hover bikes and conveyor belts then.
I remember one wonderful moment. I was playing Destiny, and Destiny was saying, "No, Captain Scarlet, you will die. No, please, please, Captain Scarlet, don't." And I was getting emotional, and button went down. "Sorry, Liz, puppets can't cry." Oh, you're devil, you. Look at that.
Here's one scene Gerry never wrote: Destiny Angel kissing Scott Tracy.
He got so many productions from here into the American market that they wouldn't allow him before he cracked it with Thunderbirds. And they were watching it, and they had a sort of specialized showing. I don't know where it was. And anyway, the head of, I think it was NBC, said, "We got to have it. We got to have it. This is a killer."
Ignition sequence start.
Gerry's most creative period coincided with the space race. He, in common with his young audience, was obsessed with rockets and astronauts. On one trip to New York, he remembers lecturing a stranger on the mechanics of space travel.
So I told him how the astronaut escape system worked, and he was very interested. And, the speed you have to go to break away from Earth's gravity, all these sort of facts that I knew. And he listened. It was quite obvious he was very interesting. And he was doing the occasional, "Really? Oh, I didn't know that." Anyway, having talked myself dry, we got up and we shook hands, and he gave me his card, and I took mine and gave him mine, and I turned his card over, and it read, "Captain James Lovell." Well, I nearly fell through the floor. It was the biggest put down, not only I've ever had in my life, I think it's the biggest put down anybody could have in their life. And I was so taken aback. I said, "You bastard.
In Gerry Anderson's shows, technology brought salvation, the triumph of our better angels.
It's futuristic and optimistic, and it shows us a better mankind in a way.
That's right. Good always was supreme. We always won in the end.
But he became disappointed by how the full-sized world failed to measure up.
The only thing that hasn't changed and hasn't advanced are people. And that, I think, is tragic, because there have been so many opportunities opened up. And what have we done? We've started, for whatever reason, one war and another war. And I often think to myself, in a way, us human beings deserve what we get.
He was a massive influence on television and children's television. And I think the greatest thing about all his work is that it was entertaining and there was no gratuitous violence. There's so much violence around these days. And I think he'll be remembered as long as television's remembered.
Remembering Gerry Anderson there. Review is up next. And